It was invigorating to be moving again. The ride from Minas Tirith to Edoras had reawakened the love Boromir had had since he was a boy. On the first leg of his journey, he'd made camp just off the Great West Road most nights. At one time, there was an inn at the foot of each of the Beacon Hills. Now there was only the two ravens on the lower slopes of Calenhad. He'd had a raucous night there with two dwarf miners and a mariner from Pelagia. But now, once again, he was slouching against his saddle next to a small fire in the middle of nowhere. He bit into the second goose leg, munching and sighing as though it was the first roast goose he'd ever tasted. He managed to bag the bird as he passed a small pond around noon. The spit was new, a gift from Faramir before he left. It was steel, made by the finest smith in Minas Tirith, and was collapsible. It had its own long, narrow carry pouch made of kine leather. He looked up at the horse as she grazed on the edge of the camp.
All I need now, Lostal, is a tankard of frothing ale.
A dram of Faegwine to help with his digestion would have to suffice. He gnawed and sucked the leg bones, not wanting to waste a morsel, and tried not to think of the muck he'd been fed in Orthanc. The smell, as he'd slowly turned the bird over the fire, had made him want to eat it half-cooked. And there was plenty left for his oilcloth and the next day's ride. He'd found a small hollow at a junction in the North Road, nigh on 30 leagues and 2 days from the fords of Isen. This was the second fire he'd dared to make. Here, a broken, overgrown track led off to the west. It ran down into a wide, shallow vale that fell gently northward. The day had been warm and windless, but now a cold breeze was coming down from the southernmost mountains. Behind him, the bank beneath the junction provided some shelter. But as he watched the long brown grass undulating across the vale in the saturated pink light of dusk, he pulled his fur-lined cloak around him. The distant rasping calls of corncrakes out in the grass was the only sign of life out there.
Perhaps you should return to Edoras after all.
Boromir dropped his hands to his lap in exasperation.
Theodred ought to know what has become of Isengard.
He was about to answer when something caught his eye at the top of the bank. A wisp of white smoke to the east, curling up in the breeze. He clambered up the bank and halted when he could just about see past the brow. The half-moon was hanging above the mountains to the southeast. The wavering thread of smoke rose from behind a patch of aigloss bushes, perhaps a quarter of a mile from the road.
Your follower seems to have no desire to stay hidden,
said Finduilas.
He's been with us since the fords of Isen.
Who is it?
Boromir murmured.
Who knows? He follows at a distance, as though knowing where you're headed.
Boromir peered at the smoke for a while.
Why did he release you, I wonder? You're surely the first to learn of his treachery. Saruman has held the Tower of Orthanc for over 200 years, a loyal ally to Gondor and Rohan in all that time.
But now he's breeding orcs. Worse, orcs that look like men, or men who looked like orcs.
But why? Could he be in league with Mordor?
Boromir put the thought from his mind, as though it were too dangerous to contemplate.
Perhaps he seeks the sword that is broken.
A mighty weapon of old.
Could the sword be Isildur's bane?
During the ride from the fords, dark memories of his time in Orthanc would spring into his mind uninvited. The hours of riding with one eye on his follower had rolled on, and as the mountains sank further below the eastern horizon, the thoughts would rise up ever higher. Finduilas broke his reverie.
If that is the case, my son, you are leading him straight to it.
Boromir grimaced and rubbed his belly, groaning.
What is it?
Something I've eaten.
Did you cook the goose enough?
Mother,